Black Girl Cinema. I'm your resident black girl here, Odie. Now today we're going to talk about the 2016 film by Tim Story, Ride Along 2. Now before we get to the film, let's get a little bit acquainted with our director. Now Tim Story is responsible for some pretty good movies. He's responsible for Ride Along 2, also Barbershop, Think Like a Man 2, First Sunday, Taxi, and Hurricane Season. Now, I've seen all but one of these movies, and I don't really have much to say about them. I mean, they're good. You know, don't get me wrong. When I feel like watching something, or if I'm bored and I don't really know what I want to watch, I'll put on Barbershop, you know, to fall asleep or whatever, because I enjoy the storyline. But none of these films are really movies that are just like the most memorable romantic films or the most memorable comedy. It's just something that's just okay. Now, let's get on with the reviews. Now, Ride Along 2 stars Ice Cube, Kevin Hart, Tika Sumpter, and Ken Jeong. This is the sequel to the movie Ride Along, of course, in which Kevin Hart's character is basically trying to prove himself to his future brother-in-law, who, you know, is the brother of Tika Sumpter's character, who he wants to marry. And he's also in the process of becoming a police officer. So just like he was trying to prove himself in the first film, he's also trying to prove himself in this film. He's graduated from the police academy by now, and now he's just tailing along with his future brother-in-law, who's a detective, and they have this great big serious case that could get both of them killed. And they chase the bad guy, they get caught, they almost die, a wacky turn of events, they prevail, just like the first film. Now let's talk about what works. This movie is hilarious. It's funny. I was holding my stomach. It was good. I liked it for that factor. Now secondly, Benjamin Bratt, who is aging ever so gracefully, he plays an awesome villain. I think he did a really, really good job. I loved his performance in this film. And then lastly, it wasn't too cliche of an ending. I kind of knew where they were going, but it wasn't like, oh, I know exactly what's happening. So I liked it for all of those reasons. Now let's talk about what does not work for this film. First of all, the first film was not strong enough to have a sequel. I have no idea why they even made this, but unfortunately this isn't something that's uncommon for Tim Story. Almost every film that he makes always has a sequel. Even Barbershop is about to be on his third movie that's coming out in April, so I really wouldn't be surprised if we have to see a Ride Along 3. Now, secondly, the side story of Tika Sumpter. Now, I love her. I think she's gorgeous. She's talented. All of that. But she wasn't in this film that much. And her story wasn't even that important. It wouldn't have changed anything. Her role wasn't significant enough. And it just seemed to be there only to make the film longer. Next, let's make a love story but not really make a love story between Ice Cube's character and the female detective. It was really annoying. For example, here they are trying to bust somebody who could be importing drugs or money, and she shows up and she's a homicide detective. What are you doing here? There's no dead bodies. She's like, what's going on here? What? This is not your business. It was so unrealistic. That's not how the police force works. There's no dead bodies. Homicide, you can go home. But it's like they were just trying to pull this plot device of, oh, we keep running into each other and we're slightly attracted to each other. They barely even interacted in a romantic sense. It was just like, this is a waste of time. Now, last but not least, Kevin Hart. Now, Kevin Hart had 3 trailers before this film started. One was an animated movie, one was for his comedy show, and another film that he's doing. He is funny. He is doing his thing right now, but he plays the same role in every single movie. There's no depth to his character. There's no backstory. It's like the writers get together, they make a film like, okay, we need somebody funny. Somebody funny. Who do we get? Kevin Hart. Boom, perfect movie. It's played out. It's not uncommon because honestly, before Kevin Hart, there was Cat Williams. Before Cat Williams, there was Mike Epps. Before Mike Epps, there was Chris Tucker. Before Chris Tucker, there was AJ Johnson. This is what Hollywood does. They find a funny comedian that everybody loves right now, and then they put him in the film for comic relief. It's a cheap sell, but it's very common. And now, Like I explained earlier about Tim Story films, this film is good. It's funny, but it isn't memorable. I literally forgot that I even watched this film. Someone asked me to go see it, and I was like, oh wait, I've already seen it. So, I mean, it's good for a laugh, to be entertained. That's the entertainment value there, but it's just okay. It's just another film with, it's another comedy with Kevin Hart being awkward, being silly, falling all over the place, being chased at, getting shot, and then that's it. So all in all, I have to give the 2016 film Ride Along 2 a grade of a C. Now, I still have reviews coming for Tangerine, for Concussion, Medicine for Melancholy, and the classic film also starring Ice Cube, Friday, and these are all coming soon. I just want to thank you all so much for tuning in. I am appreciative of all of you watching and that are sharing my videos. Please don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!